Fields Auto Group been a longtime supporter of events for the Ponte Vedra Beach Division, and we're grateful for their sponsorship of this virtual event. Fields Auto Group is family-owned and operated and represents luxury auto brands. Today, we're pleased that Joy Andrews, Deputy County Administrator, St. Johns County, is with us today. In 2002, Joy Andrews graduated from Nanjing University School of Law, further concentrated in international commerce and trade law, and served at the university's Legal Aid Center. 4 years later, she left and went to the metropolis of Manhattan, that is Manhattan, Kansas, and Joy graduated from Kansas State University, Graduate School of Public Administration, concentrating in public financing. In 2006, Ms. Andrews joined St. Johns County and has held various positions, including budget analyst, director of health and human services, and deputy county administrator.
Scheduled for an hour, but I think
many of you have already submitted some questions. Feel free to submit questions online during this discussion in the chat room. Joy will answer them at the end. And as a reminder, this presentation is being recorded. Joy, the virtual floor is yours.
Okay, hi everyone. I think I recognize quite a few of you guys. Hey, Jackie, thank you for joining us. Good to see you. I know you live in the area too, so thank you. I'm happy to have you with us. And Robert, haven't seen you for a while from the Civic Roundtable. We have been kind of doing the virtual thing. Everything is kind of little off track right now. And Richard, good to see you. Who else I recognize here? We have quite a few of our acquaintance here. Well, thank you for having me today. I don't really have kind of a presentation that normally I think a chamber, when they do a presentation like this, they'll have a pretty formal material to go with. I apologize, I don't really have a good presentation to provide, but I like to have somewhat of an open forum with kind of a loosely tied together framework of topics of discussion. And I'll be entertaining any questions you may have at the end of maybe each section of our topics. So primarily, I would like to talk about I think quite a few of you either have businesses in North Ponte Vedra or Ponte Vedra Beach area or live in the area. I wanted to talk about the infrastructure improvement that is happening in the area. And I think one really popular topic is what's going on at the beach. What are we doing to help with our eroding beach? And also what's new in the world of economic development. But first of all, I'd like to at least cover just a couple things that we feel pretty proud of as the headline of the world of economic development. I feel like I'll be remiss. Staff is extremely excited and wrote this kind of a bullet points of what we have accomplished as a county collectively. So I'll be remiss if I don't really cover them, but I'm gonna probably sway my eyes a little bit because I'm looking at the list. So apparently, last year, we have been deemed as the 10th fastest growing county in the United States. We have now a population of 265,000 people, and that represents a 40% increase in 2010. And I think, from the county's perspective, I can share with our building permits and the number it has gone. We are yet to reach a peak, but we have exceeded our permit number, residential, and I think commercially since 2015, which was the peak before our economic recession. So that tells you a lot. I think it's a great news for our business community. And I can cover a little bit later. That also drives a lot of commercial growth in our county, particularly, I think in Northwest, Northeast, the county in particular. For the commercial growth. So those information, I think it would be helpful for our business in the area where maybe you can take some advantage of certain area of industries are now kind of more inclined to be part of our county. And then the other thing that we have been really proud of is actually the health of our county. 2020, we are still the healthiest county in Florida for the 9th consecutive years. And we have been, there's no secret. I think there are probably more people know about it than we want to. Our school district, we have been, graded either #1 or tie #1 in the state of Florida, selected a school district where students are most likely to succeed in every state for Florida. And even better for the Ponte Vedra area, Ponte Vedra High School has always been the leading high school in our county, and receives all kinds of accolades. And then close to Ponte Vedra Beach, our Nocatee is also no secret, and the secret has been out to more people than we want, is the best place to live in the whole nation. So they were ranked among the top selling master planned community in United States. And then on the southern portion of the county, St. Johns County has the historical St. Augustine, was selected as one of the 11 best small towns in America. And I think Richard Goldman and his staff has done a fabulous job to get the words out. And I think he probably will very vigorously disagree with me that we're getting the secret out to more people than we want to. And then St. Augustine Beach also was ranked #8 on the list of 25 best beaches in America. So those are the good news. And then there are a couple project highlights in the world of economic development. If you live close in Nocatee, you certainly have seen the Flagler Health Plus village that has erected, and along with their concept of Care Connect, and also the Link project is very close to be kind of introduced to the world. And the project, we are extremely proud that, when I say we, Chamber, Isabel, Karen, Kathy, we have worked very closely with Raghu on making sure that we're providing whatever support is needed to foster this concept of the Link, which is a very unique a niche of the community. And I think there are also a lot of opportunities can come from a somewhat of an ecosystem to be generated around that concept, which is an incubator office co-working space in every community. And so, business owners who you are out there, there are going to be opportunities with fabulous infrastructure wrapped around in those co-working space. And that's one of the projects that we worked really hard on. And hopefully we can see to work with the company and start to produce similar facility in other parts of the county. PGA Global Home was just open, and that houses 800 jobs. And I was extremely impressed by the design and the wraparound services, the magnificent cafeteria, the working space of that facility. It really is projected to create 300 new jobs for St. Johns County and our high wage jobs, but the entire facility can house 800 employees. And also on the medical field, we have I think that it's safe to say Flagler Health, as one of the best hospitals in the nation, is now launching and has been very successful on their concept of Village, Health Village Plus, which is not just a hospital or emergency room or primary care, but also collaborate with other community providers. And the concept is called Care Connect. And St. Johns County has worked very closely with them to to ensure the health concept is all encompassing. Not only it's a health of a physical body, but also your mind. They have worked with YMCA. So there are a lot of opportunities, I think, for our residents to enjoy the product of this very innovative concept. And then we have Ascension is coming online right off 210 and 95. That project we have worked for good part of the year now. It is projected to create 450 jobs that are higher than median average income, and it also becomes sort of a medical catalyst in the area. There are going to be auxiliary medical offices, imaging center that will erect around the hospital. As you can expect, any major hospital, when they start to establish in one area, you'll have a really healthy ecosystem around it to be established. So that is very exciting for the north part of the county. Now we have a full hospital with full emergency emergency room. On the southern portion of the county, we have Baptist Hospital has just acquired a piece of large land off of 20795. I think they paid north of $5 million for that parcel. So that, not that the land value is of any significance for this conversation, but at least to show you the commitment and the level of confidence of major hospitals have in our county. Let's see what else is happening. We have about 5 hotels currently under construction in downtown St. Augustine. And we were just talking about, as we were waiting for everyone to join, that we are expecting in summer to see Hyatt and Holiday Inn to have the grand opening in Fulano Beach area. So that's very exciting for that area. And I think, all these hospitals, hotels, it really is, we have done a lot of work behind the scene, obviously, trying to expedite, fast tracking their projects, but we can take really much credit of their arrival. It really is a combination of all things, but they follow our residents. People are moving from all over the country to St. Johns County. Even with COVID, we are looking at the record high increase in population and the record high of inquiries of relocation of businesses to St. Johns County. So that spoke high volume of our asset, natural resource asset, and also, a soft infrastructure asset that we have. And our unemployment rate with everything going on is extremely low. We're at, I think, below actually it's 2.2%. Richard, you probably have a lot more updated information on that, but the information I'm looking at is 2.2% of unemployment rate. So great news for our residents. As long as you want to work, there's pretty much a job for you, and hopefully there are high paid jobs. And so this is kind of the headlines for the economic development. I'm going to pause for a minute. That Matt and Karen and Lucy had reminded me that maybe we can insert questions in every section of topic. So before I move on to talk about infrastructure projects in Ponte Vedra Beach area, I'll pause.
Thanks, Joy. I don't see any specific questions about the topic you're talking about.
Okay.
David Bracci has listed his contact information. I encourage you all to do that so that we can share with each other. We may be able to do some breakout rooms and networking depending on the Q's and A's we have for our speaker. So that's all.
Sounds good. So I will move on to kind of a quick update on the infrastructure improvement in particularly North Ponte Vedra area. And I think I can't thank Jackie and her office, Congressman Rutherford, enough about a lot of projects that actually are now taking place. We couldn't have done without Congressman's support and Jackie, your office's support to get us the resource we need. It is really a lot of leveraging of federal resource with our local resource. So, we have of course, the A1A roundabout improvement, that project is underway. And you'll see actually a lot of activity happening is really the work kind of has done in behind the scene a couple of years ago, and they're just finally come to the construction phase of it. So under construction right now, we have the JEA Ponte Vedra Boulevard installation of a larger water main along Ponte Vedra. I think that project is scheduled to be complete by winter 2021. So the county, our office has been working diligently with JEA primarily to make sure that the disruption to our residents and businesses is minimized. Obviously, the main water replacement is needed, capital improvement project, so we have to do it. But we're trying to help JEA. It's their project. We're trying to help JEA to do it in the most expedited and least intrusive way they possibly can. So we have some kind of communication information out there and then contact information. And by the way, at the end of this, I'll make sure that I'll leave my contact information for anyone who is has joined us, can get in touch with me for any particular topic you would like to discuss in private. So that's the JEA project. On the beach side, we have worked with our community, our legislators, trying to figure out a way how we can put in a long-term sustainable project on particularly North Ponte Vedra area. Now, again, Jackie, that we have worked really closely on South Ponte Vedra. Finally, we have celebrated a Army Corps project are in place now, which the significance of that is that now we have a periodical renourishment with well-funded resource to protect our beach. So now we're trying to figure out a way to duplicate that in North Ponte Vedra as well. But alongside with that, we have worked with FEMA. So there is a FEMA project that we have sought after and approved by FEMA, and the state and local, we are coming with expenditure match to make sure that there is a berm coming into North Ponte Vedra. It is really a county-wide project. The total project is about to be $25 million, but it'll cover the entire stretch of the beach from North Ponte Vedra to the south, where that there was impact by Matthew and Irma. So I think that project, we are expecting to start the design and, well, let me just backtrack. I think you can probably expect to see the sand on the beach close to the spring of next year. There's a lot of procurement process that we have put in place. We now have a contractor, and then we have a lot of work that has to be completed before work can be moved forward, including environmental study, working with DEP. But that's with very amateur background of mine, I can share it's a 4 cubic yard per linear mile, whatever that means. A linear mile or a foot. Anyway, don't quote me, but it's a standard project where that we're protecting from future weatherization from the ocean. So that's the project that we are nicely moving along with. And then we have the Lantrum Circle sidewalk improvement that is currently underway. It is the widening of the sidewalk and adding curb ramps in order to meet the ADA requirement. And Solano Road has some improvements that is going on as well. It'll improve vehicle safety and traffic flow along Solano Road and A1A intersection. So those are the projects are under construction, and under design phase, we have quite a few as well. In Roscoe Boulevard and Palm Valley Bridge intersection, we have some improvement are being designed, which really is intended to upgrade the intersection to include a traffic signal and additional pedestrian crossing and extended sidewalk along the northern portion of Palm Valley Road to Sawmill. I think it's the subdivision's Sawmill Lakes community. And then along 210 East, Palm Valley Road and Michael Road intersection improvement. That will help with some capacity and hopefully alleviate some of the traffic in that area and kind of provide a better flow of the traffic. And then I think that's pretty much, let's see, what else other projects that we kind of are in the design, either in the design phase or in the pursuit of advocating for more resource phase. A1A Michael Road improvement, that'll include the construction of a new left turn lane at the intersection, and State Road A1A intersection improvements, that's safety improvement that will include the construction of southbound turn lanes at Ponte Vedra Lakes Boulevard, Ponte Vedra Parks Drive, and Marlin Road intersection for better traffic flow. And lastly is the Palm Valley Road sidewalk construction. A sidewalk will be constructed from Lantern Lane to Canal Boulevard, which I think, it is probably one of the smaller projects, but the most anticipated project, particularly in that area. I know a lot of parents have been very concerned about the lack of sidewalk in that area. So that's the gist of the kind of infrastructure improvement that we have currently under either construction or design planning phase. And I'll pause for a minute for any questions.
We do have one question, Joy. Robert Olson asks, with a half dozen new hotels opening this year, what is the outlook for increases in our visitation industry to support all the additional rooms? Will we have a risk of insufficient service workers to support this?
That's a great question, Robert. And I want to cover just a little bit. And it felt like it maybe is COVID-related topic should be really at the front, the beginning of this dialogue. But I appreciate that you actually reminding me that I probably should have talked about this a little bit in the beginning. We were very concerned about the hospitality business and the profitability for our hospitality business. The revenue, in fact, and Richard, help me out if you have more information or more specific information related to this or North Ponte Vedra area, but nicely surprised that the revenue is coming back. Visitors are coming. And my assumption or my observation is really also based on my personal experience that, my office is very close to downtown St. Augustine. We go there, for lunch break and things like that. It has always been very packed when the weather is nice. So it doesn't seem like COVID has been as big of a deterrent to our tourism industry as we thought it was going to be. I think VCB, our hospitality industry, our staff, chamber, everyone involved have been doing a really good job. One is to make sure that our visitors feel safe, that they're here when they're here. And at the same time, we communicate that message to our visitors so that they know it's a safe place to visit and the experience will be great. We actually, the amphitheater is also part of our county and part of my responsibilities as well. We just reopened the amphitheater with JJ Gray, who's a local artist. It was sold out within a few days. And I was there just to observe our visitors. Everybody had such a great time and wearing masks. And of course, every once in a while, staff has to kind of interject, masks on and, do certain things, social distancing. But people in general, including myself, is anxious to get back to normal life and enjoy the life that we had before COVID. So I feel like with the increased number of visitors and increased number of residents and the commercial activities, the hotels are in place to receive what they are anticipating to receive. And I truly believe in capitalism and free market. I truly believe that, and Isabel and I have talked about it, how can we, and on a different subject, talk about how can we help with the rezoning and make sure we have adequate zoning for industrial space. And we came to the same conclusion. Free market will take care of it. When there is a market, we will have entrepreneurs and enterprises to come here to make sure those needs are met. So I think the needs are here first and then business come later. So Robert, I think that's a great question, but that's kind of my observation.
And the only other question we have, Joy, thank you for that, is Kathleen asks, can you direct us to where we can review what you are talking about on a county website? Kathleen, feel free to take yourself off mute if you want to add to that query. We are recording this, and so we will be providing a tape of the discussion to our chamber members, but go ahead, Joy.
Yeah. So I actually, when I'm talking, I have a cheat sheet right here with the list of things that my staff want to make sure that I cover. So I will provide that to all members here and whoever that chamber, Karen or Isabel, that you think that might be, it might be pertinent to them. But it's a great question. I think we could do a better job to communicate what's going on. And again, another thing that we brainstorm a lot, seems like, Isabel, we're talking about our communication plan, our marketing plan, how we can make sure all of our members, our prospect members that can be part of all these dialogue and conversation, either with the things have happened or is going to happen. So I think you can expect in near future, we'll have better communication on our report cards, scorecards, what's happening, headlines, and things like that. But for this conversation, I will provide whatever I have with you.
And we will make sure we add that to when we send out communication out to everybody that participated.
Thank
Joy,
you.
do you have a few more points to make?
Well, I was going to, if there is any question, I was going to cover very briefly not on this topic, for the COVID-19 vaccination, really just a few stats that the staff have provided to me. I don't know if it's particularly pertinent to this conversation, but I'm happy to cover that topic briefly as well. And other than that, I kind of wanted to pick our members' brain on how we as a county, as a chamber, that we can provide better support for your business, for the further success of your business, and how we help you to grow. Just a couple points that I wanted to make sure that I at least leave with you guys before I pause on this topic in general. As far as economic development, it is a very new area for me. I actually assumed this position not long after COVID. So it's been maybe marginally a year anniversary in this area. I have learned a ton about economic development during this process, and especially economic development efforts during COVID. So we are extremely proud of the recovery efforts that we have made during COVID. And we're still kind of in the midst of it. I believe, and top of my head, and I can provide that stats as well. I think jointly we have a kind of task force, chamber has been really intimately involved with the effort, and VCB, Richard and his team, we dispersed over 600 grants to support small businesses. The overall amount of grants that we have given out, just 1 second, I think I have that numbers right here, is it's north of 5 million that we have given grants to the St. Johns County small businesses. And also Industrial Development Authority has been very instrumental, at least from the very beginning of it. They were the first fastest reactive entity that kind of came to rescue. They for you who don't know what they are a authority, can issue bonds for businesses like you, and for nonprofits. So they really don't have revenue like generally a county would, but they have a small kind of a bond issuance income that they kind of have like a small cash flow. They pretty much empty out their pocket which is $250,000 to come to rescue of our small businesses, and granted that to the county to let us as that special task force to give emergency assistance to business who are suffering, who were at the verge of closing doors and shut their lights off. So that was, I don't want to not mention that effort. So moving forward with economic development, my vision is a couple of few, and again, I'm gonna probably, if we talk more, have more opportunity, have face-to-face or even in-person meetings. My true belief of free market will have its way to have a design and plan and blueprint for our community. What is profitable will be what's gonna be here. But there is a role for me, for our county to facilitate that. And I think my primary focus are going to be more on reducing the obstacles for you, fast tracking any installation of businesses, expediting any permitting processes. And I'm actively with staff reviewing our local land development code to see if there is any way to expedite permitting for land use for businesses to come here. Because one challenge we have faced with really very constantly is the lack of right zoning and land use entitlement for certain businesses do want to come here, or certain businesses who are already here want to expand to. So I think to the least that the county can figure out a way to remove some red tapes. Now, the government is always going to be a government. There's always kind of a bureaucracy. I would like to say healthy, skeptically bureaucratic of a government, because those processes are placed for a reason, really to safeguard our taxpayers. But at the same time, some of them can use some updating and expediting. So that's one of the high priorities I will have in the next couple of years, and working with Chamber. And the other thing is marketing and branding for St. Johns County, especially in the area of economic development. And I think for our future businesses and for our existing business, it will be equally beneficial. You'll have more opportunity if we can get our branding right to the world. So that's the other focus we wanted to spend some energy and investment on. And lastly, I think what we wanted to spend some energy and focus on is figure out, this is kind of a cliche that, what we want to be when we grow up, because we do feel like St. Johns County is at a kind of a crossroad of growth. We have a lot of people are moving here from north, from New York, from south, from Miami. We have businesses are relocating from California, from New York. We are almost in a position where that we are forced to be choosy. Otherwise, we will have we'll relinquish control of who we will be to other elements other than the benefit of this community. So it's some internal reflection and outreach and soliciting feedback from a community, and really the community. We, as this group are adults, but the community that we're talking about, the community that we're going to serve, is really our next generation and next generation. What kind of jobs we want to create right here at home for them. I have a 4-year-old and 7-year-old, what they want to grow up to be. I want to make sure that there are jobs for that. They're higher paid, they're highly intellectually intense. So we have a lot of work to do on that part. So, and then I wanted to close before I turn this back to Karen. I do want to close on our latest legislative effort with the state session being placed in next week. We have put in 3 priorities to the state and filed 3 bills for some additional resource. And I'm happy to announce that 2 of them are directly benefiting Ponte Vedra area. One is the continued improvement in A1A intersection improvement. We requested, I think, additional 2 million or 3 million, I couldn't remember, because we received funding that we asked last year. So that was very encouraging. And it's always an encouraging thing that we're asking for funding that is currently funded. The other one is the North Ponte Vedra dredging restoration project. That is a project that we have been working with Olson Group, looking at the planning, design, and what's needed for construction. Primarily, it's going to be, if we can bring that to fruition, is a dredging, which is sand sourcing from the ocean to replenish North Ponte Vedra Beach. There's going to be a lot of work to be done for that to come to fruition. And I appreciate the community has been extremely involved in this process. And we request the $3.5 million from the state as a state match for this project. So with that, I'm going to wrap up my presentation, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Joy. There's only two people I want to call out. I want to appreciate, I know you've mentioned Jackie Smith, but Jackie Smith's joining us from Congressman Rutherford's office. And I want to introduce my boss, Isabel Renault, the president and CEO of the St. Johns County Chamber of Commerce, and she'd like to make a few comments. Go ahead, Isabel.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Joy, first, thank you so much for giving this update to our members. We really appreciate all the information you've been given. And I also wanted to tell our members that you have a strong business advocate in Joy. She is the most entrepreneurial government employee I've ever met. So she gets businesses, she understands them, she understands that her role is to remove all the friction or difficulty that businesses may be encountering to do business. And so I just want to let you know that we are in good hands at the county level with Joy and the way she thinks and her mindset. I wanted to share that with you. The other thing I wanted to say is that March Cirillo with the Small Business Development Center is on the call, and March has been really essential to in helping us refer some of you to her during COVID-19 recovery. In the midst of it, she was my one of my 911 phone calls for our businesses. So thank you, March, for everything you've done for us and our small businesses here. We appreciate you. And that's all I wanted to say, Karen. I turn it back to you. I know we have more to do in the next few minutes. So thank you.
Well, I'm gonna throw it open. We don't really have a lot of time to do the breakout rooms like we usually do. But feel free, this is a unique opportunity to have Joy Andrews and each other. So you see your names. If anybody has any questions for Joy, take yourself on mute and ask. Okay, well, we got lots of information this morning. So I'll just wrap it up then, if that's all right with everybody. I want to welcome you again.
Sure.
Oh, go ahead, we have a question.
I just know I did promise in the beginning that I will leave my contact information if anybody's shy about chiming today. So my office number is 209-0562. That's my direct line. And then let me also leave my email is jqandrews@sjcfl.us. Thank you.
I just wanted to say two things. Number one, the business of getting federal funds for the beach renourishment was nothing short of spectacular because, as Joy knows, we, the federal government, does when it's open beach, but a lot of the Ponte Vedra area is people's front yards, kind of, or their backyards, I suppose. So it's not so open. So that took a lot of heavy lifting, and we really appreciate everything St. Johns County did for that. I wanted to ask a question because everyone wants to move to St. Johns County from New York, from wherever, because of our schools. Mm-hmm. Joy, what is the magic number when someone has a piece of property and they're going to develop that they have to kick in for the school that obviously will have to be built to house, for the children?
Oh, well, that's an interesting question. I don't have the answer to that right away. I can check, but I think we are extremely behind. So whatever magic number that is, we're not meeting. If you drive by, I think that's Valley Ridge Academy. Oh my gosh, it was just built. If you have not seen their portable lines and lines of them, we're not meeting the demand as far as our facility. We're kind of supplementing that with portables. But I can check with the school district. I am pretty sure the number is stunning, and I'll share that with you and the group.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Karen, I have one more thing that I wanted to add for our members to be on the lookout of an update to the PPP. We'll be sending something out soon, but now PPP has been focusing also on sole proprietors. So if you were not able to get a PPP before because we didn't have employees, or you had a really low number, more information to come from us. I know that SBDC has already putting some information, starting information out. I just received an email, I think, about it. But we'll be sending some information on that as well.
Thank you very much for joining us. There's lots of information in the chat, links to the golf information, and we'll see you on Thursday, March 4th, and at another time. Thank you.